What's up, everyone? It's Roger and Abe here from DisKingdom.com with the DisKingdom podcast. And in this episode, we are going to be discussing the new seasonal pricing that's been introduced to Walt Disney World and Disneyland today. It is pretty much it's been kind of expected for a while. What this means is at Disney World and Disneyland, they are introducing this tiered pricing, 3 different versions: regular, value, and peak. And the idea is to reduce the amount of people going in at peak time and trying to improve more people going in at the off time. And we'll go through the prices and stuff. But Abe, what did you think of this? Because obviously this might affect you a little bit more than it would affect me.
I was going to say, it's about time out here. Disneyland is a smaller park than any of the Disney World parks. And when you hit peak times, man, does it get busy. During the holidays, the theme park shuts down. It literally closes the front of the entrance. Nobody can go back in. Nobody can come in. And it's just, it gets busy, and it's because of peak times. I'm just talking about holiday. Now you're also talking about hours as well. Time-wise, some people will come certain times of the day, and then you have locals as well who show up at certain times too. It's something that's been needed for a while. It does suck because, again, pricing just keeps getting more expensive somehow, one way or the other. But it's still needed out here. It was definitely needed, and something that we've been looking for and asking for a while. So I expected it.
Yeah. Universal have implemented it already. Just to give an idea of sort of the price differences. Okay, so Walt Disney World for value is £105 a day for the Magic Kingdom. Regular is $110, and peak is $124. Now, that's nearly a $19 difference between value and peak. Yeah, okay, not a lot. But if you've got a family of 4, that's suddenly then $100 more to go. That's when it starts adding up, is when you've got families or couples. Suddenly it's like, well, is it going to be $100 today, but on Sunday it's going to be $125? So therefore, we might be more inclined to go on the cheaper day, and which is what they want. That's the whole point, is to try and get people to move off the peak to the value days. Disneyland and Disneyland California Adventure valued is $95, regular is $105, and peak is $119. So that is, $24 difference between value and peak, and that's generally what the idea is, to try and get people away from the peak over to the view. It's kind of funny because, to me, I view this, trains, planes, they do this already. You pay peak for going at certain times. Cinemas, you go, a Friday or a Saturday night, it costs you more than if you go on a Tuesday afternoon. This is nothing new for ticketing. I think we've never had to worry about it before at the parks, therefore it's new and it's different. But it's only primarily affecting single-day tickets. That's the primary example. I think it's that last-minute planning. The multi-pass are going up. Annual passes have been going up, and they've been moving them around with having block-out dates and different things to try and move people off.
Well, yeah, and it's definitely going to affect the people who plan vacations as well. If there's a certain time where peak prices are going to be higher, you're going to end up having to pay more. This will also help Disney in the sense that it'll get people to travel and visit the parks different times of the year than they usually get. So it's kind of giving them a little bit more control, but it's also giving the park guests a little bit more leeway as far as being able to ride more rides, being in a less crowded park, or otherwise they're just making more money because people won't stop. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think, because I think there's a few people sort of saying, well, who's buying these tickets? Well, I can say, from my personal experience, when I've been to Disney World, there was a time, it was about 10 years ago, I had a layover in Miami for 5 days after traveling around Central America. And I decided to catch the bus up and go to Disney World for the day. Completely, literally only did plan the day before, went up in the bus, went to Epcot for the day, then came back to Miami that night and had a great day. That was a last-minute trip, and I had to pay a single day. The 2 times I've been out to Disneyland in California, literally walked up on the day and bought my ticket and went in. because so and that was me as a tourist. Yeah, if I'm going to Disney World or Disneyland Paris for a day as a holiday, I will buy an event. If we plan to go to California next year or something, we're buying like a 2-3 day pass. But even that, I'd be more inclined just on the day. I'd just go up and walk and buy a 2-day pass. That is the thing with tickets, and especially with tourists and stuff. But obviously, you're a local there in California. Mm-hmm. So how does that affect you, like as a local? Because you obviously don't have an annual pass this year.
Well, here's the thing about the thing that I've noticed that has changed for a lot of the SoCal locals. A lot of us already have annual passes, anyways. I mean, even if I don't have an annual pass right now, if I end up going to Disneyland, it's probably because I'm going to buy an annual pass anyways. If I'm really going to spend the money on going one day, or let's say if I have a relative who visits, we're all going to go to Disneyland, they want to come. I mean, it's only going to affect to the point that I'm paying a little bit extra money. It's not going to deter me from changing my visiting patterns or anything. It might definitely affect somebody who's really on a tight budget. But this is just me basically buying one or two less churros. That's all it is. That's all it is to me, to be honest with you. Even though I'll probably still buy the churros.
It's that thing, isn't it? I think it's going to be, it is going to stop people. It will detract people from going at certain times. But if I'm a tourist and got a 2-week trip and I'm going all the way through California and I've got these 2 days that I've put aside for Disney, guess what? I'm going those days, regardless of what price they're putting it at, because those are the slots I've got available. When I went to LA last time, I went for WrestleMania. I had the Friday free to go to a theme park. I bought the ticket then because that was when I was there and I wanted to go. I wasn't thinking, it would have saved me $5 more if I'd gone 2 months ago. Well, I wasn't there 2 months ago, so therefore, if you're a tourist on that day, you're going to pay when it fits your time scale, because it's about you at that point. I can see with locals that if it's like, oh, shall we go this weekend or shall we go on Tuesday? Mm-hmm. We might go Tuesday because it's cheaper, and I can see how that could be an effect. But I don't know. It's a good way of Disney getting more money.
Well, not only that, I don't even think it's just that about just money. I also think they're preparing, because I have a feeling that this is going to be a bigger issue when Star Wars Land opens up. And the reason why I say that is when Star Wars Land opens up, people are going to be more prone to out of the blue saying, hey, let's go to Disneyland this weekend. Okay, cool. Or actually, let's go to Disneyland next week. Okay, well, let's pick out a date. That's definitely going to help out as far as alleviating crowds. And it's good for them to test this out, almost 2 years before this thing even opens up. So at that point, they'll have all the bugs, ironed out. And then they'll also see how people end up, the spending patterns. If this deters people from going, is this alleviating the problem? If it doesn't do what they're wanting it to do, they're going to do exactly what they've been doing with annual passes, is adjust prices yet again. Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely an interesting move, but it's definitely been needed, I think, for a while. I'm okay with it. Yeah, it sucks that you have to pay a little bit more, but it does kind of alleviate the crowds a bit. Just a little bit, not too much. Because, again, it's just the price of another churro or two.
See, the thing is, it's like say, for example, I'm booking a trip to go to Disneyland Paris. All right. I know that if I book it in March, it's going to cost me less than if I want to go in the middle of July. Because it's not just the price of the ticket. The flight is going to cost me more. The hotel is going to cost me more. The food might even cost me more because they put the price up last minute for the summer. Everything will cost me. People that book holidays, this is, if you go at peak time, it's going to cost you more. You could have a holiday in August or in, the kids, if you go, especially in kids' holidays, it's going to cost you more than if you go off season. So it's that kind of thing of, if they do put the price up at Disneyland in July and August, that goes in line with everything else that a person's had to pay to get. Is it fair? No. I mean, there's a lot of discussion over here in the UK about prices of holidays and stuff being more expensive in kids' holidays when, parents are being fined for taking their kids out of school, but they can't afford to go in kids' holidays because it's 3 times the price. Right. And this is, when I read this stuff with Disneyland, it's like, well, the whole of the tourism industry is doing this. So therefore, it's nothing that isn't already happening everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a trend. I mean, and it kind of makes sense that Disney's jumping on it as well, though. But I know we've reached a point where even in hard times, people are still going to Disneyland, and prices go up maybe twice, sometimes three times a year, and people still go. So it's gonna just continuously happen until something changes. But regardless of the fact, you know what? I think peak times are also maybe an advantage for some people, because maybe some people who don't want to pay as much. Instead of the prices going way up on prices for tickets, they can just say, hey, well, they only went up on peak time, so we can go when there's not peak times, and we're going to save some money. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, but
Yeah.
mostly it's mostly sharp.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, we'd love to know your thoughts on this. Get in touch with us. You can use our Facebook Lounge as well. You can also comment below. You can get in touch with us on Twitter and Facebook. A big thank you to Ethan as well over at sortapps.com and Magic Band Collectors for being a patron as well. And just a word up that all patrons do get access to these podcasts a little bit earlier than everybody else, as a little thank you after we've recorded them. And also, if you're on iTunes as well, you can also leave us a review and also subscribe there. And if you're on YouTube as well, you can subscribe. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys in the next episode.
See you next.
And if you didn't watch our Infinity podcast this week, you will never think what we're done about.